dad was called Mabel Jocelyn. Her maiden name was Haslam. My father was called Lewis. Right, these are three of Joyce's 5 children. She was married to a Harry Stevenson to him. I think he married again after she died. The boys, and I think that's him in the middle, which is Brian, the youngest boy, and Christopher on the left. And then there were 2 more girls, and I think one is called Helen. Nice lad. That's brother Dick and his wife Mary. He was 2 years older than I am. And I think behind is his best man, Eddie Carroll. Can't tell you much more about them at the moment. Dick's not very well, unfortunately. And Mary's never been well. Another picture taken at home some years ago. From the back there's Dick, and then there's me. And then in front of Dick, of course, is his wife Mary. And my wife Margaret in front of me, and our mum. Dad was dead by this time. Another one of Joyce in the middle, of course, Dick on her left, and me with one of her children. Not possible to name at this stage, it's probably the first one, John. That's a group photograph of the youth club that I belonged to as a kid. We used to play badminton and games and dancing and all sorts of things. We had a great time. It was connected to St Andrew's Church. Top row, from the left, Brian Cowell, Arthur Roberts and me, and then Derek Holroyd, John Coker, Barry somebody, I can't remember any more. Some of the women, there's Jean Neal there somewhere, bottom right, I think. She's not quite on. There's Jean Neal. Middle row. Great bunch, about 15 there. I had hair, as you can see, it was quite good hair actually. And Brian Cowell. We were at a youth summer school at Rossall. Brian Cowell again, and one of those walking snapshots in Cleveleys down Victoria Road. We'd probably be about 15 or 16 years of age there. There's another photograph of Brian. We were both Boy Scouts in those days, and we built that Scout kayak. It was a timber frame with canvas stretched on it. That was good fun. It floated. That's on the Lancaster to Garstown Canal. We were camping at night. I capsized it, I'm afraid, and we came to a soggy end. Brian and Greta at their wedding. On the extreme left is his youngest sister, Doreen. She died very young of cancer, very sad. I don't know who's next to her. And then there's another distant relative of Brian's, I think. Then there's Brian and Greta and his best man, and then Jean Neal. Oh, and on the extreme left is his brother-in-law, a psychiatrist, great guy. He's dead. Another one of the trio. Arthur Roberts. He finished his days as a headmaster of a school in Liverpool. We visited him this last holiday. He lives in North Wales, has a little chalet looking out onto one of the mountains, and a cottage rock climbing days in the Lake District. Probably about 16. Me bung in the middle at the back next to Jack Jarrett. I can't remember any of the guys. Jack married the lady in the front there, Dorothy. All quite good climbers except me, but I didn't fall off. Me, believe it or not, traversing around that buttress somewhere in the lake about. Did a lot of that. Potholing. Only did that once. It was not very nice. Up in somewhere in the Lancaster region, limestone cave. I'm on the right. Then there's Jack Jarrett. Then there's Joyce Prophet. Can't remember any of the names of the other chaps. Only did it once. Joyce Prophet was quite a good rock climber. She's dead now. She was a civil servant. Had a motorbike. Right. That's a group of us at the Rossall Summer School again. And we're obviously having a lecture. And the most attentive of the lot is this guy here. Not familiar. A group at that same summer school. I'm bung in the middle there. Sitting on some old guy's knee, that's questionable. Brian Cowell is at the back there, and I think Arthur Roberts is somewhere. Again, at the summer school. That girl was called Phyllis, and she had red hair. Yep, both me, on the left and on the right. Probably about 17 or 18 now. Different uniform. Arcala. That's at Llandaff Cathedral School. On duty, obviously. That's on one of the lake boats at Windermere. We went back there this year and we had a look from about that spot. Obviously rained. And there she is. She's still that beautiful. And that's the choir school at Chester. The clergyman on the front row, that's Eric Yates. He was one of the staff and a minor canon of the cathedral. Next to him on his right is Dr. Middleton, the organist. Great guy. Then there's the headmaster of the choir school, Mr. Bates, Reverend Bates again. And then old Lampard. Ron Fennell, who's Pete's godfather. He came to a sticky end. What's happened to him? And then there's me just next to him on the extreme left. That's taken in the cloisters. There's me with Chester Cathedral choristers, with my job to entertain them during the sermon, during matins on Sunday mornings. And then we were larking about. It's much better than a sermon. That's the same group again, I think. Still remember some of their names. That's Llandaff. That's the first service I sang in. I'm somewhere on the right there in the choir stalls, but you'll not pick me up. The Queen is there, quite obvious, I hope. The Epstein Majestus, fantastic arch. And that's the cathedral from the outside. Don't know why they plonked that new house in front of it. It was built for the chapter clerk, who was a solicitor. It's taken from the playing fields of the choir school. Our house was up on the hill on the left, somewhere there. It's not on there. And that's a photograph that one of you kids took not very long ago, I think, didn't it? With Tim or Sal. So that's the green at Llandaff, and those old ruins of the Bishop's Palace. That was the entrance, for me anyway, to get to the school, the choir school, which was through there. Our house is not on that picture. It would, if you could see another one to the right, it would be. Across the Freddie, I was best man. He was on the staff at Llandaff Cathedral School. Don't know what's happened to him. Left, went to another school. That's the whole choir. That's the wedding of Mike Bradley. He was a countertenor. And on there, I'm at the back there, third from the left. Terry Dickens, just to the right of the bride. Alan Williams. At the front there, one of the choristers, Simon Hughes. That guy. He's deputy leader of the Lib Lab party in Britain these days. He was very bright. That's cousin Marjorie Noble. And that is when she was a first officer of the Wrens. You can tell that by the rings around her arm. Very exalted position. She never married. About 10 years older than I. Yes, we visited her only a few weeks ago in her home in Elstead, near Godalming. She's now 90. And all her marbles very bright. Dear Margaret. There she is again, just to the right of the Admiral on his left. Now that's a photograph taken while we're still in possibly Chester, or certainly Llandaff. That's Angus and Mrs. Mellalieu. Mrs. Mellalieu is on the right and Angus on the left. Isn't that funny?